Hey, welcome back to Phantom Power Hour. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jeremy.
And today's a little different. As you can tell already, we're not sitting at the desk. The desk is still here, though. But
Oh, I showed him.
oh, no. Whoa. But we've got some different stuff going on today that I kind of know about, but I don't know everything about it just yet.
This is going to be a good day. Let me show you what I've done so far. So basically it's pedalboard day.
Pedalboard day.
Pedalboard day. So, forgive shaky cam. We're going to be moving around. So, let me show you what I've done. We've got the other camera over here. So, this was my old board.
You've always been a DIY man.
Yeah, to a fault. So, what's interesting is like the slatted thing. Underside power supply is a mess. Super heavy. Never really good.
And no case.
No, well, I put them in suitcases. So, what we've got here, D'Addario sent me one to like totally redo mine. So this is V1 of me laying it out. I built the pedal board. We have new cases and power supplies, which we'll talk about later. But this was my layout. I already filmed myself building it. It took a long time. It doesn't have to take a long time. I made a stupid error that I want to see if you make.
You just want to see me make a stupid error, too.
I do want to see.
Oh, it's got a front pouch, too.
Dude, look at the storage in this thing.
Oh, man. I could fit in here. I could just crawl in and take a little nap. Take a little snooze.
Like,
dang. So what, before we get too into it, what board is it? D'Addario sent it over, but what model are you working with here?
D'Addario XPND. This is the large.
Yep.
I think the only difference is a little bit longer, and you have 2 rows of like Boss style pedals. So of course, if you have like a super long pedal or a volume pedal, you're not gonna fit 2, but that's the idea.
And the other idea of expand, if you show them the bottom, in case you haven't seen these, you can push it in to not be as long.
Yep.
So it can expand to kind of fit your pedal size needs, whatever footprint you need for your pedals.
Here, I'll show you.
Oh, it wasn't even all the way out yet?
No.
Oh, dope.
No. It gets quite long. So, like, if I want to, I could put a whole heck of a lot more stuff on here.
So you can definitely fit another H90.
It's tempting. That pedal's wild. Especially if I get rid of the big Tonex, because I got the Tonex 1.
Yep.
Which is fantastic. But we're talking too much.
And the case is backline?
Backline, yeah, it's
backline
for the
case.
expand.
Yep.
So, let's put mine away.
Okay.
Feel that. That's lighter than my old one was.
Ooh, yeah.
I have more pedals.
And you've got clips for a strap on there if you want?
Yeah, it comes with a nice strap.
Very cool. So should we open up my pedal board, or should I disassemble mine first?
Let's take a look. Go grab your packages real quick.
It's like Christmas. Christmas in August. Okay. So we'll open the bag first, because you can already see it. Ooh. Also got a nice little storage compartment.
It's just the same thing, but like one row.
Yeah. A little slimmer. I was telling Jeremy before we got into this that it's going to be really nice to have something a little bit more compact and also more safely secure in a bag. What I'm working with right now, and you'll see it in a little bit, is the pedal train. Don't remember what series, but I think it's like their medium-sized board. And that has served me really well, but I have had some issues with damaged pedals, just throwing them in the van on tour and stuff, things getting laid on top of them, because it's not a super thick case. I've had some pots damaged and things like that. Do you have, scissors? Now I see how Linus does it. Whenever I pick up a pair of scissors, I always in my head go, Caesar, which is a Pokemon thing.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Gotta keep it real for the folks, Jeremy. Oh, yeah, you weren't kidding.
Yeah.
Real nice strap. Got the padding on there.
I'm not sure if I would want all that weight on my shoulder, but you got the option.
Yeah, well, yours is going to be
Hefty.
quite a bit heftier than mine, yeah. I do like a shoulder strap, though, because I've said it before, but I'm a one-trip guy. Whether it's groceries or loading for a gig. Get my cab, my bass, my pedal board, my amp head, all of it, one trip.
I've seen him walk in just looking like a pack mule. He's not kidding.
This is true. They even gave us a little snack.
You technically can eat those.
Really?
Yeah.
Prove it.
No. I'm not saying it tastes good. I'm just saying it won't kill you.
So this looks like, I haven't opened the board itself, but this looks like a divider to put kind of wherever I deem the length of my board necessary. Mm-hmm. Is that right? Little Velcro sides here.
Correct, my dude.
Ooh, and Velcro bottoms. And a mitten.
So there's two of them here, like Velcroed together, so you can put like whatever you need on either side. It's actually pretty well.
And then I can pad the ends if I need to. Which
I'm gonna have some extra space in mine. Like mine's not the full length of that, so I can put like cables or a load box or something, maybe.
ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the case. We will most certainly come back to that. Now for the main attraction, I would say.
You got a fancy knife if you want to do that.
Oh.
Here, let me get stuff out of your way.
You trust me with knives, Jeremy? Ooh, it's so sharp.
If you cut yourself, that's not my fault.
Ooh, too late. Got our instruction manual. I didn't know you were going to be putting me into some physical labor today.
The whole thing here, when I built mine, I made a stupid mistake, which is why it took 40 minutes. This should not take 40 minutes.
We'll see.
But I want to see if you make the same mistake.
So, extra Velcro, the sharp side. What do you call this side? The other side's carpet, right? What do you call this?
This is pokey
side.
carpet.
Pokey carpet. The shag side. All right. More extra Velcro, keeping it all together. That's a smart kind of packaging move, right?
I noticed that on mine, like all of them were put together, and like they're only wasting that much because you can use that on your pedals.
And you could use this on something if you need to, I suppose.
I used most of mine. Like, it's pretty clever how they packed it, and I made note of that in my video that I did.
Okay, I got some bracers. Let's see what this is. Were you a Lego man growing up, Jeremy?
Heck yes, which is why this was a blast.
Now, when you were doing Legos growing up, or last week, whenever the last time you built Legos was, did you get all your pieces out and lay them out on the table and then look over the instructions and make sure you had all the pieces? Or did you just open the bags as you went and just follow along piece by piece without laying everything out?
Oh, I just went for it.
You know, that's what I did as a kid too. But now I'm old and I've got some old man tendencies like laying everything out.
This is the little USB cover from the Tonex. It is never going back in that thing.
But then you'll get dusty.
I tried with all my might, and it's not going.
It's just not going back. I expected this to unfold or something for the instructions, but
yeah,
this is it, huh?
They keep it very simple.
Okay.
And I won't tell you my mistake.
Instructions.
That one's just going to focus on the table. You'll have to show this guy.
Instructions. All right here. I'm not going to show you the other side because it's my code. You don't get my code. It's my code.
We need those points.
All right. So I get these dealios, and it looks like they're oriented this way. And let's see.
Have you figured out what everything is?
No. What's on the...
So obviously, these are your rails.
Yep.
Carpeted on both sides with your release mechanism on there.
Mm-hmm. And that's for extending and then locking into place, I think.
Correct. These are your corners.
Yep.
All your screws and the extra feet.
Mm-hmm. And the Allen wrench.
And the Allen wrench. Your Velcro. The Velcro it came packed with that you could reuse.
And cable management. Oh, dude, I love that.
Let me take a look at yours real quick. Okay. Yours is the same way. I want to see if you get tripped up here. Probably not, because you're way smarter than me.
I don't know about any of that. Okay, so this side is the side that comes out. But it's oriented this way in the photo. Oh, so that's the side it comes out. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have it out. Only because the photo has it a little out, so I'm going to do the same thing. Because I don't want to get tripped up. Jeremy kind of... He gave away his hand a little bit. Had I not known that there was something to look out for, I probably wouldn't have done this in the first place. So then we've got this one. And it is this way. And we just... Oh, it just pops in there. Right? Yeah. Just slips in.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
So you're doing this a different way than I did, for sure.
Well, it's like one of those choose your own adventure books.
Yeah, I like my adventure better so far.
Oh. And then this guy, because we got to put a foot on it. Did you put the wrong angle to ends on?
No.
Okay.
Boo.
Boo. It's okay. I edit these, so no one's going to know.
I'm just going to continuously reference it in the video, so you have to.
Telling everybody I dropped something. Fake news. Didn't happen. Oh, so this is so you can have a different height for your nubbin, I guess? Mm-hmm. Nice. We're going to go all the way flat for now.
That's the same thing I did.
And then I'm assuming these are all the same size. Mm-hmm. Love it. I need 4. Makes me wonder how, like, somebody like Linus can make a 5-hour live stream of building a computer entertaining. Because I've not watched only one of those. I've watched multiple of those streams.
And they're always interesting.
They are. I'm sure he has his merch messages and stuff, but it's not like he's doing that the whole time. I don't get it. I'm this far in, Jeremy, and I'm having a hard time figuring out what you would have done to screw you up.
You already got past it.
Will you tell me then?
So on the ends of these, there were those rounded screws on the insides.
Uh-huh.
And those act as a catch on the other side. So you can't extend it too far and it falls apart. I looked right at it and I was like, oh, these rounded screws. I'm not going to be able to get this flush. So I took those screws out, built the entire board, and I was like,
why do I have these screws?
First thing I did was extended it and it fell apart. And I was like, oh, that's what that's for. Because I kept looking and I was just overanalyzing it. Thinking way too hard about it.
Now here's something I've seen before. Allen wrenches with the little, like, nubbin on the end instead of being completely straight. Do you know what the reasoning is?
So you can get it from whatever angle.
Oh, so I can be... see?
It's more forgiving.
Big brain Allen wrench. Also, how cool must that guy Allen have been to get an entire tool named after him?
I'm sure that was the thought process. Mm-hmm. It was actually a dude named Brad. But he already had the nail. Brown.
Oh, that's true. He couldn't name two things after himself.
That's a joke for the construction workers.
I like how this screws into the plate and it's...
Oh, you're 2 for 2, buddy.
That's number 3.
Look at all these boxes. This is wild. It's a mess because of pedals, pedal boards, cases.
I mean, it's lived in. It's not a mess. You know,
definitely lived in.
things happen around here. So I got to screw those in first. Oh, it's locked. Unlock. I love having the Velcro pre-applied. I know some people don't like it because they like to be able to just apply Velcro where they want it, or some other people are tearing pedals off so often that it wears down the Velcro, but I'm a set it and forget it guy until I get something new. You know?
And I think what makes sense with this board is it's literally meant to be expanded upon or shrunk down to your size you're using.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're going to have free space if you can help it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be filled. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Yeah, and whatever size you have it set at.
Right.
Oh.
So there are 2 different versions of this board, and you've seen mine, which was the large, over yonder. This is the small, but still, I think we should get this thing out and open.
So this has to be extended just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How do you put this backside on?
It's okay. You'll get it.
There we go.
Perfect.
That was a user error for sure.
You made it way faster than I did.
I'm no materials professional, but I gotta say, the tolerances on all this seem superb.
I said
Not a single cross thread.
I said the exact same thing.
I'm not having a hard time getting anything going into any of the screw holes. Maybe IKEA, if you're watching this, get in touch with D'Addario, see what manufacturer they're using. Because this has been smooth sailing. All right. There's the first half complete. And then it just says you kind of put these in the middle here. Mm-hmm. Just plop them in.
No, there's 2 different sizes of them. The bigger guys go in the smaller section, and then the shorter, taller guys, because these bars are bigger. Yeah. But you can just kind of put them wherever.
I think I'm confused as to how they...
I just pushed them in from the top.
And you had the longer side
Yep.
up?
Yep.
I guess that makes sense, having more
Just kind
gravitational...
of pops in.
Ooh, not all the way on the
There you
edge.
go.
There we go.
Popped right in. Those are the same top to bottom.
Yeah.
Too far.
Too far. Too much poppage. Get in there.
Little bendy boys.
Little bendy boys indeed. Why won't you go? There we go. All right, all right. It's silly, but I think I'm most excited about this coming with cable management. When I take apart my board, you'll see the links that I tried to go to get some semblance of cable management. Nice. Okay. Complete.
extend it out. See
Ready
how-
for a gig. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty good size.
That's a good amount of board, especially for a baseboard. I guess I'll go ahead and pull out my current build, get some of this extra stuff out of here. Just add to the box pile. Okay, so here's my current board. The pedal train something says on here, Classic Junior. If you play any type of guitar or bass or have pedal board, you've probably seen this one around. It's I don't know. I feel like everybody I know has one of these, or at least did. It was like the big commercial friendly one.
The reason I never got one of these was just because I was constantly changing things.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not a cheap board, but not knowing what size to settle on, I just
No, for sure.
I didn't get one because I was like, I don't want to be boxed in.
Yeah. And that's why I went with this size. At the time, I had really this whole top row could have been empty when I first got it, but I knew I was going to want more pedals, but I didn't want to get the big Chungus one because I didn't want to feel like I had more room and inevitably spend more money on way more pedals than I needed. So currently, power-wise, this is the Walrus, what is it, Phoenix or something? You can't see the logo because it's on the top. I don't remember. But that's what I'm working with, and I just Velcroed it to the top to keep it kind of secure up there because there is enough of an angle for it to be on the undercarriage, but there's not a great way to attach it. In the past, I did use just some Velcro, but if you can tell, like, it doesn't quite slot in here, and there's not really anything else for it to be stuck to unless I wanted to put it like smack in the middle, and I didn't want that because then it wouldn't fit. So just cable ties around there. But I guess now I got to take it apart and decide what to put on this board. As I go through here, this is the JHS, I think it's called the Hot Foot Fuzz, something like that, or Sock Foot. Whoops. I don't remember. It looks cool. You can get really, like, when you turn the fuzz knob down and the volume down, you get that like really break up fuzz tone, which is pretty cool. On guitar especially. For bass though, honestly, I was hoping to use it a lot, which is why I put it on my board, but I would prefer to just stack overdrives instead of use the fuzz on bass, the way it cuts through. Polytune, obviously.
Here, let me help you.
Yeah, you do some. Oh yeah.
Uh-oh, we got a battery.
No battery. Just full cap.
Really?
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah. It's wild.
That is a full cap.
Full cap indeed. It'll drain itself in a little bit. This is the Proton by 3-Leaf Audio, and such a good envelope filter, especially for bass, but just in general. And while I'm at it, this is not on my board, but this is the 3-Leaf Audio Enabler. It's their EQ DI. I absolutely love this. It used to live on my board permanently. Nowadays, it is just in my gig bag as a backup in case I need to go DI instead of using my direct output on my head for some reason. The preamp sounds awesome. Honestly, I just didn't have room for it, and I didn't use it unless I needed to solve a problem. I didn't need to have an extra preamp at the end of my chain for any reason, but those are my two 3-leaf things. This is one of my favorite bass overdrive pedals. I've gotten a bunch that I've tried, including some of the dark glass stuff, which sounds cool, but the tightness and grit of the Vulcan is perfect for the kind of tone that I am looking for in like the modern metal type of stuff. Ditto, just a looper. That's another optional one for the board.
I've got the bigger Ditto right over there.
Ah, the X2?
We got Dittos on the Dittos.
Yeah, Ditto on Ditto on Ditto. If you ditto a ditto, is it only 2 dittos or is it
It's
one?
Didn't. Or dachshund.
No, those are dogs. The Morning Glory. This is my most recent addition to this board. It's a blues breaker style circuit that you can flip up to have even more gain. If you're a bass player, get a Morning Glory. They sound so good. Previously, I was using a tube screamer in its place, which you can kind of finesse to sound nice, but a lot of the low end is cut out with that on bass.
Well, that's the tube screamer thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That low cut.
Exactly, but I wanted that kind of mid-range bump and a little bit of the grit. But then I swapped it out for the Morning Glory, and this thing just so nice. Ego compressor, not the bass variant compressor. I had a Spectracomp before. I've tried some other stuff. I really like your Empress. Is that what you have?
It's the
Cali, the Cali 76.
Cali, yep.
Very open to trying other compressors, but this one has been serving me really well. Has all the different kind of adjustments that I would want and not overly complicated to use. Great on guitar, great on bass.
Is this sustain? Is this just essentially like a release knob here?
Pretty much. It's like how heavy.
threshold?
It's more of how heavy is it compressing.
So is that? I mean, that would read to me as release or sustain. Like how hard am I pushing into it?
To my ears, it's more ratio.
Really?
Yeah, but I could.
Which
I mean,
that
I could be
very well
wrong.
be threshold. I mean, essentially that's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And there is no threshold on it. Volume is output volume of the compressed signal.
So it's not interesting.
Yeah, and then blend is just your mix, and then you have attack and tone.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's not tone as in like post effect. I could be totally wrong about the topology. I haven't looked into it, but when I use it, it feels like it's tone going into compression
Okay.
to alter like how it's being compressed. If that makes much
Or
sense.
is it like an internal key of like what it's keying on to compress? We're going down a rabbit hole.
We
now.
are going down a rabbit hole. To me, what it sounds like is the higher the tone, the brighter pre-compression. And then if I roll back the tone, it's darker pre-compression. Could be totally wrong. Again,
Let's see. I got the manual.
I'm not
pulled up
Mr. Wampler, although he is an Indiana guy.
here. Is he really?
Yeah, Wampler's based out of Indiana.
Wampler, call us. Tone controls the amount of presence in the compressed signal only.
Okay.
This has no effect on the clean channel controlled by the blend control. Mm-hmm. So you're right.
Interesting. So, my last one that's currently on my working board, well, it's not a working board anymore, but the BBE Sonic Maximizer, the Sonic Stomp. And I have gotten so much hate for this. I've gotten so many ugly looks for this.
I was gonna ask about it.
You can get it for $15, and I love it.
What are you getting out of it?
Okay, so the initial reason I put it on was when I had the tube screamer, it would chop off that low end, and then I could use low contour to kind of excite it back in.
Now is that like a synthesized low end or?
No, and we've gone down this rabbit hole before. And we've
Sounds
looked
familiar
up a
to me.
description, and it didn't help us a whole lot. All I can say is it sounds like it is some kind of like parabolic exciter of some kind.
Parabolic. That's a word.
I just use that word because it sounds fun.
Just
And
like
it's
that-
half a parachute, kind of like my pants.
Just like that pedal. We don't know if it means anything, but you like it. So
I like the way it sounds.
That's fine.
It's also the process is more of a high end. To me, it sounds like it is enhancing transients. Mm-hmm. So when I'm using pick stuff for really aggressive like metal tones, it helps out a lot. Same with slap.
That makes sense.
Helps those transients cut through.
You
So
also just change your attack knob on your compressor to get the same thing. Whatever.
well, not the same thing because that's my compression is before my dirt, and so if I put the sonic stomp at the very end of my chain to be like, here's a little bit more high-end transient post dirt. Include that dirt.
All right, whatever. We're getting into this.
All right.
Semantics.
So I'm going to have to start with my polytune. And I guess they'll just go in the middle. Because I probably won't end up doing it. Actually, we need to talk power supply first. I need to know how much power I'm going to have at my fingy tips.
Well,
or my toesy tips.
Let's see, which one of these? That one's yours.
This one's mine. Oh, thanks, Santa.
I have 2.
These are kind of hefty.
Wait till you open it. It's surprising.
So, Chucks. Did you think it was Chucks?
I used to call it CIOKS.
I thought it was clocks with a lowercase L. Uppercase, lowercase L.
Chucks.
And
I'll prove it. I will prove it. Because I know somebody's going to be like, there's no use in it.
From Chucks. Today I'm going to
Chucks.
present a brand new
And that's the man.
That's Chuck himself. Mr. Chucks.
I think his name's Paul. Hang on.
Hello, Paul Chuck here from Chucks.
Paul Chuck.
What'd I
Mr.
tell
Chucks. So in here, got a little packaging. Like I was saying, I didn't know they were around since '91. I haven't heard of them until recently.
Yeah.
Like the last 5 years.
You buy a power supply like what, once every like 5-10 years?
Unless you get a voodoo power.
I went through 3 of those.
I went through 2 before I decided to upgrade.
I never went back.
No.
They're probably better now.
Well, we've got some stickers. I love a good sticker. And
That'll make a lot more sense later.
Okay. That seems in depth. Got our foam. So this is the Chucks Soul power supply. Okay, so this is controlling amperage, I'm assuming.
You can change your current and your voltage on here as well. So
cool.
So if you need to like make an adjustment for one of these, you can.
Or if I'm gonna like daisy chain or something like that.
Right.
So I've got 5 outputs on here, but I have one daisy chain. And then we've got all of the cables, all the cables in here. Color-coded ones are interesting. So
you're seeing it.
Proprietary cables?
RCA.
Yeah. Do you know why?
Because they're typically RCA full metal and they can solder directly onto the PCB, so you get a way better connection.
Yeah.
Rather like it's because you still have the DC connections on the other side.
Still the standard barrels on the other.
But you get it's a way stronger connection at the power supply.
That is interesting. Can we talk about the form factor of this for a second?
Dude.
This is so small.
It weighs like nothing.
This is awesome. The cables might weigh way more than it. In a good way. Not in like a this is light and cheap kind of way.
Power supplies have come a long way since.
Screws for the bottom. Interesting.
I guess if you're going into a board you can screw into.
Gotcha. And then more pamphlets. Include accessories, an overview, pedalboard mounting. Oh, it mounts to a pedal train. Interesting. Mine might be too old for that. I don't think mine has mounting holes.
Nope.
That thing's been with me for a long time. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this one out because you said it would make sense later. Probably be important later. Get this out of here. So I've got 5 outputs, potentially enough for 6 pedals if I get my daisy chain out of here. And a lot of pedals. So I need a tuner. I have to have a tuner. I need my Vulcan.
Well, what's the? I mean, the milliamp draw on the tune is so low.
Yeah.
So you can daisy chain that for sure.
Yeah, and that's how it was before. It was my Ditto and the Polytune that were daisy chained on the same outlet. I don't have to have my Proton. This is very much a fun to have, and it's nice to have in the certain scenario if I'm like playing in a cover band and we're doing some funk tune that needs an envelope. But 99% of the time I don't need this one. 99% of the time I don't use my fuzz. This one wasn't even on my board in the first place. I need to have a compressor. Oh, I didn't talk about the soul food. This is...
Is that a Klon style?
Yeah, it's a Klon circuit. Incredibly affordable, especially if you go with the guitar variant, which this is that. They have a bass variant that has like a low pass built into it, so you get more low end. But with the BBE, I never needed it. And this is an always on for me. I learned from the guitar guys. Have the drive really low. I boost the treble just a little bit and drop the volume just a smidge, and this is an always on for me.
So how are you laying this out? You're going...
So yeah, I go tuner straight into compressor, and then I actually see what is the order that I normally do.
This is your gnarly distortion?
So I would normally go blues breaker into gnarly.
And then another boost after.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you boost after this guy? Okay.
Well, again, this is... excuse me, this one is always on, and it has the treble knob, so I can use that to shape what's coming out of here if it's too harsh. This one has color. I almost keep color all the way down, which is the least harsh, and sometimes I'll still drop the treble a little bit afterward. And then I would go into that. So this is my usual, like... This one doesn't get used every gig, but it would be tough to sacrifice it. I potentially could sacrifice this, but I'm so accustomed to how it interacts with everything. Although, I could probably get by with all of this with a daisy chain.
What's the milliamp draw?
That's what I'm looking for. It does not say. On this one, this does not say. I'll look up the BBE.
I got the soul food. 22 milliamps. Okay, so you're fine.
Can do that one. That should be okay.
You've got 600 at 9 volts. So this is running 9 volts, and this is like what, 50 milliamps maybe?
If that, yeah.
Well, actually, let's double check because I don't want to get that wrong. 50. Yeah, at startup, and then at 45 is when it runs.
These can run over 200.
I mean, still, you could daisy chain all of those together and be under your 660.
Oh, that's true. So daisy chaining shouldn't be an issue.
You could run as much as you want.
Now this one can take 18 volts. I've never ran it at 18.
The only thing you're losing here is like you're losing having these things isolated from each other.
Yeah.
Whatever's on that circuit, if you're daisy chaining, those things aren't going to be isolated from each other, but that might be fine.
It's usually fine. I mean, I've been running a daisy chain in my pedal board just always for a long time.
This is wild.
What if I do 2 daisy chains? Because then I could fit my looper at the end still.
Nothing.
I could, so... Let's just see physically. I know that this would be silly, and I'm not going to do this. But physically on this board, if I did get a way to power them all, if I could fit my normal lineup on here. And I'll just put them in order. So I always start with a fuzz. The good man Josh at JHS says fuzz goes first, even before a tuner. It's expecting that type of impedance straight from the instrument. So I just do what he says. And then I go into tuner, and then I go into my envelope, because I never want to have a compressed signal going to my envelope. That just screws up the sensitivity. And then I go into my compressor, go into my Morning Glory, into my Vulcan, into my soul food, into my sonic stomp. I could make it work, Jeremy. They could all fit if I had slim enough cables.
The Ditto is 65 milliamps back.
Oh, I couldn't. Forgot about the Ditto.
I mean, what's wild is 660. That's what we used to run like most at.
There we go. I could make it all fit.
Oh my god. Where's your power for this guy? Oh, it's on the side.
Yeah.
You really could.
I really could. I could make everything fit. If I had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I had 4 daisy chains.
I mean, you could run multiple things on one daisy chain.
Well, I mean, 4 splits.
Yes, not 4 daisy chains.
Yeah,
4
that's
items
not,
on
yeah.
one daisy chain. Because, like, that's 50, 60. This is only 21.
That's wild.
And then I would assume
That's
this actually may be hefty.
yeah. This is in some forums. There's different variants of this pedal, so it's hard to get a number for this exact one. But people are saying that they've tested theirs, and sometimes they'll go over 200.
Okay. Well, I mean, even at that, you're still under 660.
Yeah.
So, what is the Wampler Ego milliamp draw? Gotta love the internet.
The internet's great until it's not. I'm gonna take a drink break real quick.
Drink break.
Scooch around.
The Ego only draws 14 milliamps at 9 volts.
Ow.
But you can run it at 18 volts for higher headroom.
That's pretty cool.
So now you're gonna run into those kind of questions. Like, what
It would
do
be
you
good to have
want?
more headroom because I'm using an active bass most of the time, but I haven't had that extra headroom so far.
True. But I mean, one thing I notice when I run those things, having that higher headroom on things like compression are awesome.
Maybe I should do it because I could do the same with this. I would really be interested to hear what this sounds like on 18 volts. I've never tried it.
So,
This one doesn't go on no matter what.
okay, this is just
Yeah, that's just my emergency in the bag.
so.
Are we going to try to get all these to fit, Jeremy?
I think so.
Do you have any more splits? Like,
Yeah, oh yeah. I've got a big daisy chain you can use. So, hang on, let me get this.
oh my God. If I can get all these to fit, you know how dope that would be? The other issue is going to be just getting these ins and outs to feel good.
So where do you normally come in? You come in here?
I go in here, yeah.
Yeah.
And this would actually technically be the last in the chain. Mm-hmm. But this is probably the only way the layout would actually feasibly work on the fully extended version. Mm-hmm. But it's crazy that this is their smallest one, and I can fit 9 pedals on here. And only 3 of those are like mini-sized ones. These are all full-size chunguses.
So, okay, let's get some room here. I know you're going to need some of those cables. I also have some of those tight little couplers that we can use for you if you want.
Oh, it's in the mug, obviously.
Of course. So here's a whole mess of like old DC connection.
Oh, you can
There's a
just
daisy
power
chain.
everything off of batteries.
There's a daisy chain in there. And this is an exercise in like see if we could.
It truly is.
And if you want, you can just have
Some of
these.
those. See, I had some of those, but then I was told that they destroy pedals.
Really?
Yeah.
They
But,
didn't destroy mine, but
yeah. If we need them, that's fine. I should have enough cables. Most of my...
if it helps get things tight.
Most of my connections have been a combination of these Ernie Ball flat cables and then the D'Addario flat cables. I think these are D'Addario. They might be Monoprice. Hosa, yeah. Scratch that, not D'Addario. Oh, here we go.
So you're not gonna need all of that.
No.
But So your lowest power draw one, and you could decide if you want to run this 18 volts or not. But
So both of these.
there's 3.
I'm gonna check the fuzz.
I would maybe run the fuzz by itself. 3 milliamps
So that could probably go on there too.
at 9 volts.
Yeah. I thought it would be low. Fuzzes usually don't take up too much power.
That is bonkers. I mean, I guess part of their thing is like choking power.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and that's the cool. You get that like spitty stuff when you choke this one a bunch.
So you could do all 3 of these.
And the soul food.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need one more in the loop.
Yeah. What is the proton? That might be a hard one to find.
Who makes this?
3-leaf audio.
You can run
Doesn't
it
say.
9 or 18, but it's a 25 milliamp draw by itself. Does the Morning Glory run 18? 43, 9 volt standard. I would put this in with it.
Yeah.
So then you've got all 3 of those.
And then these two can be 18. Potentially this one
Run that at
18.
18 as well, and then 9.
That's exciting. This one can run 12. I didn't know that.
Weird.
Yeah. So that gets us to these doodads. We have these little, what are these technically called? I call them toggles, but they have a
Sure.
specific name.
Yeah, toggles.
Real quick sidebar. All of the, who makes, is it Bloom?
Oh, Chase Bliss stuff?
Chase Bliss. Yeah, Chase Bliss stuff has these different toggles along the back to change like how the circuit of the pedal is working, which is really cool. But these are changing 9 volt, 12 volt, 15 volt, or 18. And the corresponding toggles will let you change that. So right now, it came shipped. All of them are down, so they're all set for 9 volt. But we're going to change some of them to 18.
I would do 1. You've got your big daisy chain. Keep 1 and 5 at 9.
And then the other one's at
Yeah,
18.
18, 18, 18.
That makes sense. So to change them to 18, just pull them both up. Boop. Boop.
There you go.
Now that gets me to this, because it came with different, these are your cables. It came with different colored cables that are somewhere around here. And this entire chart. Now, do you want to save me some time?
I haven't gone through it
Give me
very
the
much.
cliff notes?
I mean, most of this is going to be a standard connection for you. Like where you
Yeah.
get into the flex cabling, I have to do that for one of them on my board because it needs just a crazy power draw. So there's like different flex cables you can get.
I see that now.
So this is like the color coding of those things.
Yeah,
So,
and which one's center positive and
Right.
center negative and stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh, and it even tells you down at the bottom. Like,
Yeah.
the red ones are for Moorfuger and stuff. Mm-hmm. Empress, I'm assuming maybe you had to do it for, or will need to do that for one. You don't have an Empress. I keep thinking that.
I don't.
That just means you need to get one. Okay. So yeah, all of mine will be
Standard.
just standard black. Yeah. So I think I might run the daisy chain first.
So you're actually going to have a completed board after this. I definitely don't.
We can complete yours. You just got to run cables, right?
I have to make cables for mine.
So here's one other thing. I'm going to start from here. I like to, I guess I can just do it under here. Pro tip, always tuck your cables if you're using a pedal board, because anybody can step on it, anybody can pull it out or even break it off at the end. And I've played with so many people that are getting into a solo and then they tug on their cable too hard, unplugs the input jack or unplugs the output from the board. So just tuck the cables. With that said, I guess I can just put it under. I normally will fish it through the gap, but we'll see. I'll do whatever I need to do for it.
I'm going to go ahead and get some Velcro on this guy.
Ah, yes, please. How do we orient it? It'll need to be like this then. Or something, because there's no there's no gaps on the edges.
Yeah, no pass through.
Yeah. So, and it's not tall enough, I don't think, to go like that. So we'll need to do.
Do you mind giving it the old like reach around if we can do that? Well, no, because then you want that at least somewhere on the outside. We can do this. That can gather most of them through there.
Yeah.
And then you still have like kind of access under here for
I like
that.
that plan. And honestly, I could leave this plugged in almost all the time anyway. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Board's big enough.
That'll work. Well, I guess it's Velcro, so we can relocate if it doesn't sit flush on the ground.
Do you want any of this information before I cover it forever?
I don't think so.
It's gone.
It's gone. Forever. Forever, ever.
Cool, it's all in one line.
Yeah, that is very cool. It's also crazy how much is going to be fitting on this little board versus what I had it on.
Whoopah! And that's why they have lifters on them.
Lifter? I don't know her. Oh.
Yep.
Oh, dude. So smart.
You'll have to play with a couple of the feet, but it'll get there. Or we can do it over here because there's more clearance.
More clearance. That's the second time I brought clearance up on the podcast. And you've never seen it. There we go. Heck yeah. Dude, I'm so excited. I was excited coming in today to do this. I'm more excited now.
This is going to be a long episode.
We'll do some speeding up. We'll probably even do a radial wipe. Clock wipe.
Well, we've told you what we're going to be doing. We're just going to plug in stuff. We'll be back when these things are finished.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Josh and Jeremy found that the power supply came with its own splits for connectors. They also found that keeping the fuzz on the board left no good options for easily accessed output.
This is the last one.
Yeah, putting the final touches on it right now. If you can see it through my hair. So we've got this in slot 2. Let's see how we can... We've been talking about this during this whole time of plugging in and everything, but these cable management trays are a godsend. Like, they're so easy to use. I've had to put stuff in them and then take stuff back out over and over and over, as per usual for building a pedal board, and it has saved me so much time. And I guess this will just go...
You gotta leave yourself enough room.
Yeah. Originally you had it this way, huh?
I did, but you can back it up like as close to this thing as you can.
That's true. Just pull all these back.
The cool thing about these little guys, they're 2-tiered, so you can run your power and then your audio. Keep them
separated. I think I'm just going to have to do the good old-fashioned shove it under there method.
There you go.
It's not too shabby.
For the amount of stuff on this board.
It's way more than
That is
should
clean.
probably be on here. So here's the bottom. We got the tops.
Wow. That's impressive.
It's finally over. It's only been 26 hours since I started. We did have one casualty. We had to get rid of the fuzz, which is okay. I don't use it in a live context almost at all. We had 2 different plans that you guys most likely saw. The first of which had the ditto kind of stacked over on the right side, but we found that if it stayed there, we wouldn't be able to access the output jack. So that couldn't work. And then we tried to reorient them another way, and we weren't able to get to the power for the ditto. So long story short, we just got rid of the fuzz. I decided to keep the Ditto over the fuzz because honestly, I use the Ditto more than the fuzz. It's really about that simple. But this is it for now.
So, back to my board here. I basically just laid this out yesterday trying to get something that I thought I liked. And I've got the volume pedal, the new Layla, which I'm super excited for because my old one is massive and not great. And basically from the 80s. So I can get rid of the Super Ego if I need to. And I have 2 tube screamers, but it doesn't really make sense to include on here. I have another reverb pedal, a Ditto pedal, and another delay, which I don't really like. So I think I'm going to stick with this because...
Well, when you have the H90, I feel like you don't really need another delay.
And the idea with that, the H90, like if I'm using it for tremolo or something else that's not reverb and delay, that's the Specular Tempest, can do that too. So I'm actually going right now, which I already know I want to change. I'm going to go right now. The volume pedal is first. That has to change. This is going to be first, the tilt boost, then to the origin effects, then to volume, then tube screamer, Super Ego, Pog, and the Pog may live in the return of the Super Ego, but I'm not totally sure on that yet. From the Pog to the H90, H90 starts stereo, Specular Tempest, and then that goes to Tonex 1 and 2, of which we have the big Tonex and the little guy. So
Why would you not go Tonex into the verb and delay? I thought you liked having your verb and delay post amp.
I'm going to try it differently.
Okay.
I want to try hitting, because now that I actually have 2, I may switch back, but I'm definitely curious about hitting everything because, and I did think about this too, like if I'm only using the H90 for reverb and delay, yeah, I wouldn't mind it at the end. But if I want to use everything else that's built onto this, like modulation, drives, then it doesn't make sense. So I would rather clean these guys up, just use them as like clean, just pedal platform amps, and let this stuff do the talking. So what I'm not sure about is if I want this here or if I want to move this to the middle. I think it's fine.
Is that just aesthetic usability reason?
If foot placement doesn't work, but this is also kind of small and my foot's kind of big, so I think I need it on the side. So we might keep it here. So the only thing for me to change is like this is now my input, which works.
Yeah. And is the Polytune, do you have a place to put that where it can just be always on? Or will you need to be toggling it on and off?
Layla has a direct out.
Okay, perfect.
So the tuner's just going to live on all the time.
Perfect.
And then if I want to tune, kill it.
Yep.
But these are basically always on. And then everything after is volume pedal. So that works.
What's the reasoning for tilt into compression?
This is more of my like preamp, because if I want to change the low end of like any given instrument that I'm picking up, I can change like how it's going into everything else.
Okay, so you're using it more as a preamp as opposed to a drive.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely like a preamp with like a boost built in, and it can drive. I don't necessarily like the drive on this. I mean, the boost is really cool, and having the boost right here is really cool. Because I'm normally running this like as a mix of wet and dry, so I can still punch through it if I need to.
Tube screamer is just to do the tube screamer thing, cut the low end out, push the low mids.
And this is very much like I'm okay replacing this. Like I was a Tube Screamer boy for a long time. I've got,
Yep.
I have a couple. This one I modded.
Oh.
So this has different caps and different resistors, and they basically changed the EQ profile so it no longer cuts the low end. So it kind of treats the low end clownish, but it still breaks up like a Tube Screamer. So it doesn't really know what it wants to be. And looking back, it's kind of a stupid mod. But
that would probably sound really cool on a bass though.
it does. It's a really cool bass one, but I definitely want something that's not as like aged as these, because I mean if I want them, I've got them. But
Yeah. What would you replace it with? I know earlier we were talking fuzz potentially. That would change your whole pedal chain though. That would change your order of operation. So if not a fuzz, would you want a different flavor of drive? Because you don't have a drive to just kick on to be a drive right now.
Right. I mean, that's probably what this is going to be, since this is a boost. And it would just do the dirty Tube Screamer thing. Which I'm not a huge fan of, but it'll be fine until I really find what I like. One thing I did really like was the 1989. Kind of based off that Rat circuit. And then I would love a fuzz. But I'm not totally sold yet on what that would be. So this is where we are.
And you can always make more room on the board if you need to.
I mean, the bit
physically,
like this, I'm not even close to maxed out yet.
Yeah.
Like if I want, I've got so much room. So this one's going to be a bit of a cabling nightmare. Not so much a nightmare. I've got all the tips laid out where I want the tips to be and everything planned out so that I can then make those custom tips. But what I really wanted to figure out was power. And I think I'm okay with this here. So I think we're good to just power it.
Yeah. I like volume pedals on the right side, personally.
Yeah, I always do it with my right foot.
Yeah. And
Left foot, guitar starts moving.
I've used some in the middle before, and it I don't know, it feels weird. Maybe I just didn't get used to it, but
When I can see this with my foot size,
there you go.
I'm going to start like stomping on the pedal next to it. So I'm going to keep it on the edge. This poses some interesting power issues. Mainly this being like 12 volts and having just a dumb high milliamp requirement. So we're probably just going to be dealing with power. And if you want to help me with that.
Yeah. Do you want to explain what we're doing with power, how we're getting power to it?
So we've got, again, what we put on your board, the Chuck's Soul. They sent the DC7, and I've been looking at this for a while because I've needed to redo my pedals for a long time. I mean, I think the last time I built a pedal board was like 2012. A lot's changed since then. The tools available have changed. So they sent the DC7, and I bought the DC8, I believe it is, or just the 8. I'm not sure what to call it. The cool thing with these, there's a link feature.
Like Legend of Zelda feature?
Yeah,
Oh, dope.
that's it. Scoot this out of the way for right now. No shortage of cables. And mounting hardware, instructions. So there's the 7. And I bought the 8. Now this is gonna seem like way overkill for what I'm trying to do, but because I have so many different types of things here, I wanted everything to be isolated for sure. So I didn't plan on doing any daisy chaining, and because of the H90, I actually have to jump 2 of these to get the current that I need to run this pedal. Which is why I bought a very particular pedal that we have to find. So what's cool here IEC connection on one of these, and then on the 8, there's a 24 volt DC link option. So this cable got the link, boom, and now these two are connected. One IEC cable, and now I've got 15 isolated options.
That is so cool.
Really 14, because the H90, being a little butthole, it needs, let me double check. I believe it's 12 volts, and max it pulls like a little over 600 milliamps. 12 volts, and it can jump up to 560. So if I were to put it on one, I'm at 500, and it would probably be fine, like within tolerance, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump and know that that is just gonna be my H90, because it's weird. The only other things that I could boost, my tube screamer, I can run at 18 if I want. The Cali, I'm definitely gonna run at 18.
For the headroom?
Yes. And then everything else is 9 volts. It's a pretty simple board.
Even the Spectral Tempo or Tempest?
The Spectral Tempest is 9 volts, and it pulls like nothing. It's very low.
That's surprising.
It's a very low power requirement for a pedal. Especially being like as powerful of a reverb and delay as it is.
Can you MIDI link the Spectral Tempest to the H90? Or
Yes.
You can?
Yeah, I can.
And you can MIDI link to your big Tone X as well.
Yes.
Will you, though?
I have been thinking about it. Running the whole board, I would love to have like a switcher. But that's kind of above my head. Like, I need to sit with this for a while and get to know this, and then as I add more things, especially with the H90, like having the iPad or your phone to do it helps a lot, but it's really hard to operate on the fly by itself. So if I had a MIDI controller that I could fire scenes off of that I know I like, that would be awesome. But that's above my pay grade for sure. But for what I'm trying to do, I think I'm okay for right now. This is 9 volts, 100 milliamps.
Okay.
So not crazy. Super Egos, 9, and I think this is around 50. We're going to run this at 18. The tilt boost, I don't know if you can power this at 18 or not. Not that we have to.
You could almost get away with just the DC7.
The only thing that put me over the edge was the H90.
Yeah.
Like, I think everything else will run on this just fine. It's just the fact that I need the H90 to run, which is why I needed to get the 8.
Could you not do the same thing that you're doing on the 8, on the 7?
Yes.
And then could you just didn't want to daisy anything,
I
right?
didn't want to daisy chain anything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And this was 160. I mean, as far as
Oh, that's not bad.
the wild part about power supplies now, like when I bought my last one, or like I bought a handful of Voodoo Labs ones that just died, they were way more expensive than 160. And I went through 3, I think.
Yeah, and not nearly as robust.
No, I mean, at one point I had one die on me like a weekend. So the tilt can run 9 to 12 volts, and it's only 25 milliamps.
So you're going to put it with 12?
It says recommended voltage is 9, maximum is 12. May as well run at 9. I mean, everything else is 9. So the only thing we're going to run 18 is the Cali. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Shall we?
We shall.
Let's get some Velcro. I guess the benefit I have over you, I've got a lot more real estate under the board.
And you can just go to whatever power supply is closer. Are you going to have them just like one on each side, essentially?
I don't know. I guess whatever works. It would be nice if the IEC was easy to get to.
Well, you totally could. You can just... Well, you probably don't want it on the output side, right? Maybe just in the middle.
I don't know. It
Facing
could be
back.
whatever. Because I'm going to have some weird exits, just the way I have it set up now. I mean, I'm going to have one hanging off here, one hanging off here. It's not super ideal. I could expand it. If you see a better idea, please let me know.
No, I'm just... Rev's always on. Cali might as well be always on.
The Cali will be always on for sure.
You for sure want H90 and Specular Tempest within foot reach.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about this guy, because it's going to be an always on. So you could...
I had thought about like expanding it and putting it up here.
Sideways or something.
The only thing is like that's hard to get to. It would have to be turned sideways.
Right.
For it to make sense. And then I've got an awkward amount of space.
Yeah. Unless you just leave it as it is and turn this sideways. Then all your outputs are on this side.
Well, no, that's a good idea.
You want to try it?
Go for it.
Go for it. Oh my god.
Yeah, I've got the Chungus.
Oh.
I've got the Chungus Velcro.
And there's not much on here.
Look at that.
Just that. Oh, you got the... What? This isn't even called Velcro, right? It's called...
I don't know. Gorilla stuff? I have no idea. It'll hold your pedals.
So you could do something like that. That's going to block off some of this, but if these are the only jacks...
That's the only jacks that need to be there. So that's fine.
Try to turn that one, though. Wait, is this already plugged into something?
No, they're just sitting there. I've just laid out my tips the way I want to see them until I wire them. This will tell me if I've got enough clearance. And these, like, all these are the S&P 400.
Oh, well, there we go.
Super easy to wire, but I know I need 2 here. They're going to exit this direction, but that's all the clearance that I need minus power, which is actually recessed a little bit, so I kind of gain a little. So if we want these to exit out the side, we can do this. I would have an entrance right there.
You can tuck it down in here. We can even like push it back some. So it's like this.
Yeah.
And this is your input, and I could just go tuck under there.
Actually, you know what? I wonder if that'll go far enough. Because I don't need... dang it.
Oh, I hate that.
Velcro will not stick to this little guy for whatever reason. But I only need access to the left out. And I don't need the expression. And so if it works right there...
That does work right there.
I've got my out.
And your power input is on the top. Mm-hmm. And this output... That's going to be a straight cable, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So this one will just need to be tucked up underneath it, and then straight cable here. Mm-hmm. Might have to move this down a little bit. That way you have room for your power with that straight cable. So if it were...
You could also expand the board.
No. Oh, but then it's going to be... What if it was... But then that's in the way of power cable. There we go.
Hey. Can I still get to the power?
Yeah. The power's right there.
I like that. And then I got my little Altoid spot.
Or
You gotta
MIDI.
have the Altoid spot.
This is so absurd.
I don't need to mess with it though.
No, not the sideways part. Mismatched tone X's.
But I'm gonna treat them exactly the same.
I know.
Like, it's gonna be really hard not to sell the bigger Tonex and just get another baby one. Or if I'm
This
like,
is
nope,
so-
the baby one's not for me, I expand the board and get another big Tonex. Either way, coming from the Kemper, which I love the Kemper, it treated me well for years. I like this form factor a lot better.
Yeah, agreed. You could do some really interesting wet-dry stuff, though. Because with this one, you could preload any pedal that's not time based on it. So you could do an interesting, like, I don't know, have an extra drive or something on the right channel and then the cleaner left channel. I guess this one can hold a pedal too, though.
Yes, one at a time.
Yeah. So you could still have, you would need to reach it then, but you could still load a drive into these and give yourself another drive option. But then it would be, that would all be post effects, post time-based effects, and you don't want that.
Yeah, I kind of just want to treat them like just like
amps.
I'm hitting amps.
Yep.
And not think too hard about it.
That's the easiest way to do it.
I mean, I know there's more clever ways to run those things, but for what I want, I think I just gotta simplify.
I get that.
Because I'd rather have fun over here and then just let these be amps. But my God, I can't get over how tiny that thing is.
So little.
A lot of real estate to work with down here.
And so much cable management stuff.
So I could even do something like this.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, doing it like that, because then your power's right here. Now it's not going to be obstructed by any outputs.
Yep. Run my link this way. I could even put another one on here. It's kind of bonkers. Oh, that's satisfying.
Isn't it?
You did all the last ones.
I know.
Ooh.
It feels good.
Okay. All right, checks. So most of my stuff is just 9 volt, except for the one that's going to be 18.
But they should all be center negative, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All of them are center negative.
So just the...
Which is important.
Yes.
And if you run into any questions about what you have, they actually give you a helpful little chart here. There you go. Which is really confusing to look at first, but it's super handy to have if you need it. Daisy chaining options, which we're going to keep everything isolated, so I'm just going to get regular old cables out of here.
The daisy chaining options saved my build.
Your build is way more compact and thought out than mine will be, though.
No, yours is pretty thought out. I don't think there's more or less in those regards. Mine just took a lot longer doing the thinking process because I had the kind of physical limitations of the board.
One thing to think about as I'm doing this, as I know eventually this thing will expand, if I can keep the slack here in the system,
then you won't have to worry about it.
yeah, I mean, as long as it's tucked away, but if I pull, I've got the room.
You could flip those. That way the one that's going to your H90 with that split is on this side. So this one powers the pedals on that side, that one powers the pedals on this side.
H90's right here.
Uh-huh.
I kind of don't mind it being there, though. I would rather have my
I was just
power-
thinking in terms of the expandability. Or you just jump off of this one.
We could do that, too. I mean,
Yeah,
it
just
doesn't
right
have
here.
to be this one.
Yeah, you just jump off of 6 and 7 of this one.
That's a good idea.
And then, because this is one more place where something could get unplugged, you can just tuck it under here.
True.
And give you less possibility of it happening.
Shorty right here,
Shorty.
which is actually perfect. We'll just go ahead and hide him right off the bat. The other thing that I would love to do on this board, oh no, there's a proprietary barrel on this thing,
On what?
on the H90. It wants a different style barrel. The green one fits. What's green?
Eventide is the first thing that's listed.
Center positive?
Yeah.
That's what, okay, this one is center positive. It's just such a long cable.
Is it green on the plug-in side too?
It is.
Gross.
I know, but it'll be hidden.
Gross.
It'll be hidden. I mean, I get why they do it.
Me too, but gross.
I can black it out if I need to.
Now, I would say I would come out of, instead of the 1, I would come out of 4 down here, because now that's right in front of your power supply. Or fish it underneath and through. And you've got a little cable management thing underneath it. You could even push this to the right a little bit if you wanted to.
Like so.
I was thinking the other direction, but that works too.
Like so.
Yeah.
See, this is not my love language.
I'd like the record to show that I did offer to do it.
I mean, I'm still down.
But it's fun watching.
Oh, I'm in the wrong hole. That's what she said. These are in my way, so we need to...
Where are those from?
These are coming off the Specular Tempest. These are the last things that go into the Tonex.
Is there a reason that you have those specific cables already attached? Because I thought you were planning...
I had them done, and they were just 2 matched cables the same length, so I was like, okay. Other than that, no. And I think I was out of the other tips. So these were already done.
Just the tips?
Just the tips. Actually, do you want to do this? If this
I'm open to it.
seems like you had a talent.
I just...
You know?
I don't know what other word to use other than cathartic.
Well,
Feels good.
get your cathartic butt over here and do this.
My hair is back this time, so I'll actually be able to see. So these go into H90? No, into Tonexes.
Tonex, yes.
Doesn't matter.
One of them is left and one's right. I'm not totally sure. I was going to flip the board.
Flip the board. So this one's left.
So
Which one of these do you want to be left?
I thought this would be primary, secondary,
So left, right?
left, right.
Okay.
Because that way when I'm looking at it from the outside, left, right.
That's right.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah. I didn't fish the first one through.
Those are awfully long.
They are very long.
Oh,
Got a peely peel?
can I get it? Can I get it? Oh.
Oh, Spectral Tempest. Everything but what it's actually called is what I've called it.
One thing I want to try to do with this board, I don't even know if this is possible. I've never really seen it on here, is have a USB hub.
For just power?
Well,
Oh, for all these.
to program it, because like USB-C, USB-B, USB-B, USB-C. But I could...
Make a little hub and have just one outlet. That's big brain stuff right there, Jeremy.
Interesting thought.
All right. So the only one that truly matters is getting your compressor and switching it to 18.
Yes.
Outside of that, these things can kind of go
Anywhere.
wherever they fit. Where they fits, they sits.
See, I probably could have done everything with the DC-7. Because there's room here.
Mm-hmm.
But I know if I want to expand the board, like I want to have it just, you can plug and play.
Yeah. And now you have so much reason to expand the board.
You know, yeah, I'm down. I mean, and I need some more drives, so...
You do.
And apparently a USB-C hub, or USB hub. So she should power up.
She should power up. And it doesn't look as pretty at this angle, especially right down in here. But, you know, It is what it is.
Kind of is what it is.
Here you go. Now it's really pretty.
Done.
You want to try power her up?
Let's do it.
The two weird ones are on, so that's great.
Literally everything turned on.
Beautiful.
That was the one I was worried about, but it totally worked. Yes!
That's cute that your tube screamer has a green light in it.
I changed that.
I thought you might have.
Yeah, it had a red one, and I changed it to green.
Again, I think final version, like pedalboard _final_ for real this time _2.
Version 6.
With the date posted on the end. That's going to be all the quarter inches and stuff plugged in, and that's when we can make it as clean and pretty as possible.
That is pretty cool. Everything fired up. We got lots of blinkins. I'm like weirdly excited about a volume pedal. Like this thing's coming from this bad boy. Just felt gross. Probably because it's 20 years old. Very nice. I'm excited. I already want to get rid of this and get another one.
Get another little
I
guy.
haven't even heard it yet.
That was a little bit of a different vibe. Hopefully you guys liked it. Much more kinesthetic this time.
Yeah, I have more fun doing these because we're like doing something. So let us know if this is fun to watch.
And if you found yourself here after watching the video on Recording Studio Loser channel, welcome. If you enjoyed yourself, consider liking and subscribing. We do a lot of different stuff. Sometimes we talk gobbledygook. Sometimes we talk about real important matters. But it's always fun. It's always a good time. We always appreciate your presence here. I think I do. Yeah. Well, let's do record recs.
Record Rex.
Now it's time for Record Rex.
You want to go first?
Sure.
What have you been listening to?
So for this one, I'm gonna go with one of our buddies' new songs.
Yeah?
Jonah Michael Lane, Take a Trip.
Ooh.
Have you heard this?
I haven't heard the whole thing yet, no. Those drums sound nice. Is that Jonah singing?
Yeah,
I like his voice.
I know, I do too.
I'm always so jealous of people that have that vocal range.
And this is kind of a biased one because I mastered this track, but Jonah's a super cool dude. He's a really good player, awesome producer and engineer, and you should go listen to it. Jonah, Take a Trip. Jonah Michael Lane. Get out of... Ah! There it is. There you go. How about you?
So I've been, as always, in the morning, go to the gym, listen through new release songs, 2 or 3 or 4 of them, in the morning. And I came across one by Sick Puppies, who I've heard of. I've heard their name around, but I've never listened to their stuff. This track is There Goes the Neighborhood. There are conflicting ideas and thoughts about the song online, so don't go see what Reddit has to say about it. But
Now I'm intrigued.
yeah, but the bass and drum relationship on this song, just so cool. Just so tight.
What kind of controversy are you getting us into here?
So it's kind of riffy. It's pretty cool. Very like Rage Against the Machine-esque. This is Emma Onzai. I'm sorry if I'm saying the name wrong. She co-founded Sick Puppies, but she also plays for Evanescence. And the bass playing on this song is just masterful. It's so good.
Not that Evanescence was bad, but...
It's normally not bass-centric.
No.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Those little things. There's those little like...
The EQ is something you don't normally hear on metal records either, like that kind of 400 to 500 area. It's beefy.
It is beefy. So many cool bass licks, so much just tight rhythmic qualities that the drums and bass are just perfectly like married together. So
Like, what's the controversy then? I gotta know.
something about it being a political statement. Some people agreeing, some people disagreeing. I don't know. I don't care.
Okay,
I just think it's a cool song.
typical?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
But it's like a Rage Against the Machine type of vibe, but also almost like heavier, I guess, in some aspects. I don't know. Just go check it out. See if you like it. I like the bass playing a lot. It's really cool.
So people are upset that somebody kind of going in the vein of Rage Against the Machine's political.
People can find a reason to get mad about a lot of stuff.
Yes. Is that it? That was probably a really long one. We haven't edited
We'll see.
this. You. You're gonna edit it. I don't edit these. But if you made it this far, you're a champ.
This is true. Go you. You deserve a high five.
Put a foot in the comments.
That makes sense?
Do they have feet?
Probably.
You probably have feet. I'm wondering if there are feet emojis.
Well, they might not have feet, so let's not just assume everyone has feet.
That's a good point. Now I feel really bad.
Okay, bye.